pandemic where Indonesia is result human ethical decreasing in fighting construction is this critical discharge with U-19. This COVID-19 virus brings a lot of change in construction industry which have a big role in pandemic and post-pandemic era. Construction industry must have an innovation for its buildings such as adapt to a new technology which also help our country to be more advanced. During the pandemic that hit the entire world, including Indonesia, this resulted in almost all human activities being paralyzed due to the physical distancing program launched by the government in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19, which was increasing day by day. COVID-19 virus brings a lot of change in construction industry which have a big role in pandemic and post-pandemic era. Construction industry must have an innovation for its buildings such as adapt to a new technology which also help our country to be more advanced.
Dari Malaysia, Pak Hasan.
Pak Hasan dari mana, Pak?
Iya, collecting. Ada Pak kemudian ada yang lainnya. Oke.
Mas Hasan udah jam 3 mau dimulai?
Boleh, MC silakan dimulai. Jangan dibuka. Jangan lupa record.
During the pandemic that hit the entire world, including Indonesia, this resulted in almost all human activities being paralyzed due to the physical distancing program launched by the government in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19, which was increasing day by day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to all the participants and invited guests of the 6th episode of International Seminar Expert Pick Series 2021. Remembering all the participants, please fill in the present link that is listed in the room chat near the end of this seminar. And before we start, please all the participants to turn on the camera and use virtual background that has been provided by the committee. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Salam Kebaikan. Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Seminar Expert Speak Series 2021 Adaptation Infrastructure and Design During and Post-Pandemic.
Honorable the Head of Civil and Architecture Department, Vocational School, University of Diponegoro, Mrs. Asri Nurdiana STMT. Honorable our speakers today, Mr. Iswandar Widiatmoko, BSc, MSc, PhD from ICOM UK. Honorable all of the Lecturer of Civil and Architecture Department and all of the committees, also all participants who attend this event. First of all, let's say thanks to Almighty God who give us guidance, happiness, health, and mercy, so we can gather here in this special event without any obstacle.
And before we open this event, let me introduce ourselves first. I'm Dio and my partner,
Arifa Lestari,
going to be your master of ceremony and accompany you from the beginning until the end of today's international seminar. On this special event, we have several agendas as follows. Opening, compulsory song, opening speech, rules, opening video, main agenda, games, and closing.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I come to the main agenda, let me start this by praying first, so the event that will hold on this day will run well without any obstacle at all. Pray based on individual belief begins. Pray is done.
National Anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, and continued by listening Mars University of Diponegoro.
Recording in progress.
For all the audience, we thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go to the greeting speech from the Chief of Applied Bachelor Program, Civil Infrastructure Engineering and Architecture Design, Vocational School, Universitas Diponegoro. To respectable Mrs. Asri Nudiana STMT, time and screen are welcome.
Oke, thank you, Mas Dio ya, selaku MC. Oke, baik, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, and good day to all of us. First of all, we would say thank you very much to the speaker today, Dr. Iswandaru. Thank you, Dr. Iswandaru, for your willingness to stand here with us today and share the knowledge to our students, and your kindness to be our speaker today. I am Mrs. Asri, the head of the Department of Civil and Planning Vocational School, Diponegoro University. For your information, in Indonesia, nowadays, we are concerned to developing the vocational education to fill the skilled labor, especially in construction. And it is a pleasure to have you today, Dr. Iswandaru. This seminar is held in 9 sessions every week, and a special discussion, special topic about the construction during this pandemic. We are very excited to know how things are going in the UK. Okay, Dr. Iswandaru, thank you for your fulfilling our invitation, and we hope that this cooperation will continue in the future. And last, to the participant, please concern to this seminar and take a lot of knowledge. Thank you for the time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I give the time back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Rules of Expert Speak Series. Rules of Expert Speak Series 2021. Tata tertib Expert Speak Webinar Series, tata tertib umum, 1. Peserta masuk ke dalam Zoom meeting maksimal 15 menit sebelum acara dimulai. 2. Peserta wajib mengikuti dan mematuhi arahan yang nanti dibacakan oleh pembawa acara, baik Master of Ceremony maupun moderator. 3. Peserta diwajibkan on-cam selama acara webinar Expert Speak berlangsung. 4. Peserta diharapkan mematikan mikrofon untuk menjaga ketertiban keberlangsungan acara dan mengaktifkannya ketika ada instruksi. 5. Peserta wajib mengikuti seluruh rangkaian acara webinar Expert Speak dengan baik. 6. Peserta yang mengalami suatu kendala bisa lapor ke narahubung yang sudah tersedia. 7. Peserta dilarang melakukan aktivitas yang dapat mengganggu konsentrasi pemateri dan peserta lainnya. 8. Peserta diwajibkan menggunakan virtual background yang sudah disediakan oleh panitia. 9. Peserta wajib mengisi absensi pada link dan barcode yang akan diberikan oleh panitia di setiap sesinya, dan jika mengalami kendala pada saat absensi, peserta dapat memberitahu secepatnya kepada narahubung.
Tata tertib sesi tanya jawab. Peserta yang ingin bertanya wajib mengaktifkan fitur raise hand dan memperkenalkan diri sebelum bertanya dengan ketentuan nama dan instansi. Penanya diharapkan menyalakan mikrofon untuk menyampaikan pertanyaannya. Apabila terkendala pada mikrofon, penanya dapat menuliskan pertanyaannya di kolom komentar.
All participants are requested to obey all the rules. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will present to you opening video of Week 6 Expert Speak Series 2021.
During the pandemic that hit the entire world, including Indonesia, this resulted in almost all human activities being paralyzed due to the physical distancing program launched by the government in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19, which was increasing day by day. This COVID-19 virus brings a lot of change in construction industry, which have a big role in pandemic and post-pandemic era. Construction industry must have an innovation for its buildings, such as adapt to a new technology, which also help our country to be more advanced.
And moving right along, we have the main agenda of this afternoon. The material about innovation in construction method during pandemic era from our special guest and speaker, Mr. Iswandaru Widyatmoko, PhD, MSc, PhD. Hosted by our lecturer, Mrs. Farzanela Swarto, ST, And before we moving to the main agenda, let me read out our moderator CVs first. Mrs. Farzanela Swarto, STMS, she was born in Sleman, 21st March 1989. Worked as a lecturer in University of Diponegoro and PhD student in University of Nottingham. Graduated in Civil Engineering Diponegoro University in Indonesia in 2012, having thesis about probability analysis of Patas AC bus with multinomial method in Semarang Solo Toll Road. And graduated in Road Management and Engineering University of Birmingham, UK in 2013, having dissertation about experimental investigation of the effect of PFA on cracking expansive soil on unsealed road. Having training and certification such as Road Engineer Lembaga Pengembangan Jasa Konstruksi 2019, BIMTech of Infrastructure Work Scheduling MS Project Ditjen Bina Marga 2015, and a lot more. Having publications such as Toll Road Maintenance Toward Minimum Service Standard in IOP Conference Series, Earth and Environmental Science in 2021, and a lot more. And without any further ado, Mrs. Farzanela Swarto, STMSC, already is yours.
Thank you very much for the MC. Good afternoon in Indonesia and also good morning here in the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending today's Expert Speak webinar. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Farzanela, and I'm going to be your moderator for this session. For today, Expert Speak webinar, our theme is Innovation in Construction Method During Pandemic Era in the UK. We would like to say thank you for Mrs. Asri Nurdiana, STMT, as Head of Civil and Infrastructure Design of Vocational School, Diponegoro University, as her endless support for this webinar. We would like also express our gratitude to Bapak Iswandaru Widyatmoko, PSc, MSc, PhD, as today expert speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID pandemic has created a lot of disruption in the construction field, not only in Indonesia, but also in the developed countries such as United Kingdom. So today we will learn more about how UK as developed country tackle this challenge. Before we begin, I would like to read Pak Iswandaru CV. Please committee can help. Pak Iswandaru has been working in the UK since a long time ago. His current role now is the Technical Director of ICOM. So I first know him when I read a book about pavement engineering that is written by my supervisor in University of Nottingham, and his name is written in the thanks book that he is have given a lot of input on the book itself. So he has a big role on the UK pavement engineering field. His current role is technical director in the ICOM. ICOM is an engineering company in the UK, and his office now is in Nottingham. His designation is leads the transportation and infrastructure material research and development team of ICOM, and professor at Civil Engineering Department of Universitas Pertamina Indonesia. Before he moved and worked in the UK, he got the Sarjana Terapan or Bachelor in Civil and Engineering Transportation in ITB, Bandung Institute of Technology. And after that, he got the MSc from Highway and Transportation Engineering, University of Birmingham. So we have the same alumni. We are same alumni here in the University of Birmingham. And then he got his PhD in Highway Engineering in Sheffield Hallam University in 1998 with the thesis of the performance of polymer modified bituminous mixtures. During his work, he got a lot of professional affiliation, which is Fellow of the Chartered Institution of Highway and Transportation UK, and Fellow of Institute of Asphalt Technology, and member of Association of Asphalt Paving Technologies US. The key academic appointment or membership here is the committee member of Times Higher Education Impact Ranking, Action Lab Head from Transportation Plan, and then graduate
Mbak,
architect.
itu bukan CV saya.
Ya, tolong di next committee. Yes, this one. Pak Iswandaru also has chartered engineer, and then certified project manager in ICOM itself, also construction skill certificate scheme for professionally qualified person. He also is a technical committee of professional qualification chair and council member of Institute of Asphalt Technology, and also the member of British Standard Institution or BSI. This BSI is like SNE in Indonesia, so the standard national that is used in the UK. On his work for years working, he's got the awards. The last one is many awards. The last one is Highway England Awards in 1920 on digital transformation, performing safety and quality with automation in road construction, Birmingham, UK, which is very much the same with our themes of webinar today. And then besides of that, Pak Iswandaru also become a journal reviewer and journal editor of many journal, international journals such as Elsevier Science Publication, Thomas Telford, American Society of Civil Engineer, American Society of Testing and Material, Asphalt, again like SNE, but this one is from US. And then International Journal of Pavement Evaluation and Asphalt Technology, International Journal of Road Material and Pavement Design. He also is a professor now in University of Pertamina since 2020. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now for Bapak Iswandaru, we may begin the presentation.
Thank you, Ibu Nela, for the time, and also thank you to Universitas Diponegoro for the invitation I feel honored to be with you here today, to be with all the students, all the staff from Undip today. And please let me share my screen. Just 1 second. Good morning. Can I have a feedback whether you have seen
Yes.
the big screen of my slides?
Yes, already.
Yes, Pak.
Sudah.
Yes.
Thank you. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit about some innovation in construction methods which happened prior to the pandemic and being promoted throughout the pandemic era. Well, I'm not going to introduce myself. Mrs. Nila has already introduced myself. So I just keep this section of about me. The next one is about what I do. With ACOM, I lead research teams. Mainly, we are researching into improving the whole life cost and whole life benefits and the way to design our assets so that it can improve sustainability and improve longevity of the assets. There are several subject areas which we have done, and for today we are going to focus on the developments in automation in pavement construction. So what I'm going to do today, we'll go through a little bit on the situation, the disruption happens in the world and in the construction world before the pandemic. And then what happened during the pandemic? Has anything been done on that matter in relation to addressing the issue with the pandemic and the utilization of this technology? And then I will elaborate further about innovation in construction methods. And at the end, I will provide you with 2 case examples. So hopefully that will clarify the elaboration on some of the innovation methods in construction. So let's start with the disruptions that we have seen before the pandemic. Before 2017, we have been hearing the news or the reports about the revolution, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, whereby in this revolution, the industry have already adopted a lot of technology, mainly digital technology, and improving the connectivities in the application of these technologies. What happened in the construction world? In the construction world, they also started adopting these technologies that has been developed during the revolution, the Industry Revolution 4.0. So the digitization has started being used in construction, and a lot of work has been done remotely. For example, the use of drones, Internet of Things, and the increased connectivities using central data in the servers, cloud computing, and so on. And there are 3 main items during this disruption in 2017. One is digitization. We'll talk a little bit about digitization later on. And then the second one is industrialization. In one of the video that you presented earlier, that was one example of industrialization, whereby the construction started using a modular method, prefabricated construction method that's been used, and that has been used more and more. And the next one is globalization, whereby people started collaborating globally as well as competing globally. So the increased competition in the markets now is getting more severe because now you have a global connectivity and a global competition, including within the construction industry. That's before the pandemic. And what happens in the UK during that time? In 2018, the UK government has already prepared a roadmap to improve their networks, a roadmap to trying to accommodate the increase in demand of the people mobility, the changing in the demography and the way people work, and how people would like to remain connected even though they are on a different place of their work area, and how they can remain competitive in their work. In the infrastructure side, they need to accommodate the latest technology that associated with construction, technology associated with the user of their assets. For example, people started using electric vehicles, connected vehicles. So the infrastructure need to be improved, and also to improve the infrastructure to accommodate those technologies that come into their assets, in the infrastructure assets. But for today, I'm going to focus on construction innovation. In the UK, National Highways has got their program try to accelerate the adoption of rapid engineering model, trying to improve the efficiency of the process of construction from design, implementation, installation, to the monitoring of the assets, as well as their aspiration to move towards a connected and autonomous plan during the construction. And it is quite an ambitious process that they want to have the plan to be either fully automated or semi-automated by 2035. On the networks in the UK, this is what they are planning. They have a 30 years road plan that they divided into decades. The first decade, the first 10 years, they will focus on research in smart materials and implementation of digital infrastructure to improve all this connectivity. And then in the second year, they'll start implementing a lot of automation in construction. That is from 2030 to 2040. And this is the discussion that we are going to focus today. We'll be focusing on automation in construction. And then in the final year, they are hoping that they will reach their target, which is to provide a network, an infrastructure of roads, whereby there will not be any disruption, there will not be any traffic jam, there will not be any damages that will not be anticipated before. So anything that would happen in the future, they would know well in advance, so that either interrogative or intervention action can be started before the problem become so big and unmanageable. So that's the plan for the UK in the next 30 years. As I said, for today, we are going to focus on automation in construction. Then, late 2019, COVID-19 starts. The pandemic started and spread around the world. How this affect the construction industry? Many of the works, they stopped initially for a few weeks, a month or two, but then people realize they cannot longer just stop the work. They have to move on, especially the construction worker, those workers that provide essential support, like those fire brigades and other teams who manage the network to make sure everybody can still get access to safe network for their travel purposes. So what happened in the UK during the pandemic? As we know, with the COVID-19, one key item is physical distancing. So that's what has been implemented during since the start of the pandemic, that the systems need to be improved for the safety of all the workers and the other peoples around the project area, that they will keep safe distance between each other. So there are ways of tracking the people who's got a sign of either infected by COVID or signs of getting infected by COVID using software and equipment, tracking tools like track and trace using mobile phones or using RFID or using any sensors they're implemented on site. And there are protocols to make sure the safety of everyone will remain being looked after. And then people start working in smaller team. So if in the past, when we are doing construction, perhaps in one gang, you will have 10, 12 people. Now they split the gang into maybe 3 people, 4 people in a small gang. And then they spread around. And then also people started working remotely. So the remote worker is becoming more and more being utilized during the pandemic. This is where the technology being used more, because with technology, it can facilitate remote working. One example of technology that has been used for remote working is using contactless method to do things, using drones, using remote control with robots, or using automation in the process. The pictures on the left, you can see that perhaps before the pandemics, people quite happily inspect bridges using either a person going up the bridges or below the bridges. But since the pandemic, they use drone more for assessing the condition of these bridges. And in terms of design and implementation, the use of artificial intelligence tools started being used more and more. People started developing models that can provide everyone the access to augmented reality or virtual reality models to facilitate the discussion between different stakeholders of that particular project. I will give you some examples in a few moments. So that's what has been happening during the pandemic. So prior to the pandemic, this technology has already started kicking in, started being considered in the construction industry. But what happened during the pandemic, actually the pandemic accelerated the adoption of these technologies. So I talked a little bit about digitalization. There has been a lot of digitalization happening in the construction work, from design, from installation, and from monitoring. So we talk about, there are few differences between digitalization, and digital transformation. As a starter, we start having digitization coming into our way of life, i.e. we start familiar with using email instead of sending letters. That's a digital format of our paper. And then on the digitalization, it is more about the process, whereby the process, the way we work, is now started using a lot of digital technology. And then in order to those different process or different processes to be able to use together, then we need some sort of digital transformation to transform all this technology and the process and the rules, how to use things, into a common digital format. And why we are doing this? By doing it in a digital way, it is expected that our work can be done quickly, so it is faster, and also we can do smarter work because we can optimize our design a lot easier. A lot of consultants at the time started thinking about digital transformation. So we need to produce some sort of a digital ecosystem. This is the ecosystem that will accommodate a different process whereby digital data has been collected. It's collected from the design. So if we have like a survey, our survey will be in a digital format, which we can incorporate into database, and the database can be part of our BIM, building information modeling. And then we can do a virtual consultation based on the data that we develop. I'll give you a little bit of examples on this one. And then during the construction, the same thing happened. All the data that was generated from the design can be taken on board during the construction and then being updated during the process of construction. So we will have AR, VR models, augmented reality, virtual reality that can be models that can be developed for that. And then we use automation in construction. Again, I'm going to elaborate this one later. And then from a construction process, we can bring forward the digital data or database that's been collected for the purpose of operation and maintenance. And that data can be updated later during the life of our assets. What is the end game from this process? The end game is, one is saving costs because the process would be more efficient, improving the quality, improving the speed of delivery, and more importantly, also the process can become more sustainable because it will eliminate waste and emission during the process. I'll give you some example later in a minute. So what happened today? What happened today? We know that we are living in a real world, but we also live in virtual world. Just like what we are doing today, we are actually communicating virtually. You are not in front of me, I'm not in front of you, but as if I was talking in front of everyone here. So today we know virtual is now becoming a reality. So now we need to manage our virtual work so that our virtual work can help our real work to be better. The quality of our real works to be much better. The other things I would like to mention is digital twins. You may have heard about this term before, digital twins. This is the models of our physical assets, but in digital format. So if we have something on my hand, mobile phone, for example, then we have our digital data of that mobile phone on our server, whereby we can modify that data, we can test that data to an extent whatever we like, so we can understand better about our assets via our digital data. So that's what has been used quite a lot during the design, but also has been taken forward during the construction and during the life of the assets. Because then with this digital tool, what the good things about this is, one is it helps us to understand the characteristics of our assets, because now we've got the
Recording
data
stopped.
that we can update, that we can modify. And also we can anticipate constraint. If there's anything that needs to be improved, we know from our model, from our digital model. And our digital model can be improved further and further. So we started from a physical part, we make a digital data, and then we test, and then we improve the physical part and start collecting the data throughout the life of the asset. So we've got a lot of data that we can use for the benefits of improving the assets. And the other things is immersive technology. I'm sure everybody is quite familiar now with immersive technology in games, for example, whereby you are playing role play while playing video games, as if you are in the games, you are doing something. The same things with the design. Now there's a lot of design whereby the immersive technology has started being used. I'll give you some examples in a minute. This is one example of how immersive technology has been used in the design. One is the virtual reality. We can put the model into a building information model, and then we can prepare our drawing in digital format. And with the virtual reality, we can see our model in 3-dimensional, and then we can see as if we are inside that model. What are the benefits from doing this? My company, as an engineering consulting company, we have been using this as part of the design process, and we found that this actually improved the efficiency of our work. The efficiency can be from 35, but can be up to 90%, depending upon the stage of that design. So the use of building information modeling and presenting it using the immersive technology can actually make the process more efficient. And also, not just more efficient, it improves communication with different stakeholders as well. So this is what has been developed by ACOM before the pandemic. This virtual consultation, whereby you have a virtual exhibition room for a project, and then you present the technical details of the projects and any challenges and any channel for engagement. It's a live engagement between parties, between the public around that project, between the authority who will approve the projects. And because the way of communicating is visual, it's a lot easier for everyone to actually trying to understand what the project is about. For example, you have a road crossing near your properties, and you can visualize it, and then you can make decision. Oh no, I don't like it. Or yes, I would like to.
Recording in progress.
Good things that has been introduced before the pandemic, and since the pandemic, there is a restriction for public gathering. This kind of tool has gained popularity. So a lot of people already now it's become a norm. The virtual consultation room exhibition in virtual mode is become a norm nowadays. So that's another technology that has developed quite rapidly. The next one is, with the immersive technology, we can visualize what our project is going to look like. This is the projects that currently being done by ACOM, which is an improvement of underground tunnel under the sites, historic site Stonehenge in England. Here, the stakeholder, everyone can see when the road is built or when the tunnel has been completed, how it looks like, what it looks like on the surrounding, how it can improve the quality of the community or the people around the area. Because with the underground traffic, the noise level will be reduced, and with no visible traffic from the touristic and historic sites, then people can feel a serenity, can feel a peaceful surrounding around this area. So this improves the quality of the community and the visitors for this particular historic site. So that's a few aspects on digitalization and using immersive technology. Now I'm going to talk a little bit on the automation in construction. How this automation in construction can improve the quality of the work, as well as safety of the workers, and also efficiency during the process of construction. As you can see from this picture, there are three photographs. One or two photographs on the top, you can see technicians. They are doing some tests whilst construction traffic are being, there are a lot of construction traffic around him. So this is not really a safe situation for a worker working at night, doing testing, and a lot of traffic around them. Also, if you are dealing with hot materials like asphalt, usually you need to assess the temperature of that material. And that is also not a safe condition for the worker, because dealing with hot materials can incur, or there will be some hazard, there will be some risk to the worker. So if we can automate the process, that can reduce the health and safety risk, as well as the data will be in digital format. So you will have a lot of data that can be collected during the process, and this data, you can search that data from your database. I'll give you some more details in a few minutes. So this is the works that we completed in 2019. So I was the principal investigator for this collaborative research, started in 2017 to 2019. So we look at how the automation process can improve the safety, quality, and efficiency of the workers and of the process themselves. So we look at the use of automation during the production line, during the travel, delivery of the materials to site, and up to the installation, and how to make use of the data for reporting the works after completion and for use subsequently during the life of the assets. This works completed in 2019, and this has received a number of awards, both nationally in the UK or internationally. And I will elaborate later under the case examples. So hopefully that will give you a lot more details on this work. Then what happened after 2019? National Highways, they produce like a document, a policy document that they want to make this automation in constructions become their target before 2025. So it is quite an ambitious target whereby they want to move towards automated in construction. This construction can be either fully automated or semi-automated. And at the end, they would like to see how this construction plan can be interconnected. And then with the digital data, they want to improve the safety of the worker because they don't have to do dangerous activity as what I described earlier, and improve the efficiency because all the data will be backed up to the server in a real time. And then with the digital process, the worker can actually do rehearsal. They can train the worker using the digital model of the construction plan. So this can be used as part of training process of that worker. This will help them to understand any obstacle on site and anything that they need to do on site before actually using the real construction plan. So this process is currently ongoing and aiming to have been delivered by 2025. So what next? In the last year, actually in China, they started the process in China. They already started working towards autonomous construction plan, and in fact, they already started doing that in several of their projects. So whilst we thought what national highways in the UK was quite ambitious, but many of the process is already started in Asia, in China, and 2 years ago I was invited in South Korea, and they started working on that in South Korea as well. So it's a lot of things has been going on, trying to improve and modernize the construction equipment. Of course, there would be a challenge in the future with respect to autonomous construction plan, i.e., what would be the risk to unemployment to the skilled worker, or what would be the legal aspect of having equipment which are not controlled by human. So there are things that still need to be done. Let's see some example. Example number one, I will elaborate further the works that we did in developing or reviewing the process of the automation in construction, how this can be implemented in projects. So what we did, we look at the process, how digital data can be captured and collected and kept to the server in real time. And when the materials being delivered on site, all the data will also be transmitted in real time to the server. The same as when the work has been done and tested, after installation and institute testing, all the data would be collected and kept in the server for interrogation and for monitoring in the future. And then how the data will be presented in as BIM layer, building information modeling layer. I'll talk through this process in the next few slides. So let's start from the mixing plan. With a lot of sensors attached to the mixing plan and to the lorry who will receive the asphalt materials produced on that mixing plan, we will get information on vehicle registration, trip number, routes, material types, loads, and then all the timestamp from the mixing plan here, the red dot, to the sites, all the time will be tracked. So we have a full information how the material is produced, the ingredient of that materials, which vehicle will take that materials, and how long it takes from the mixing plant to sites. Because as we know, if we are dealing with hot materials like asphalt, we need to maintain the materials within a certain temperature. The temperature must not drop, as otherwise we cannot use that materials anymore. So this process, the recording process, has been digitized, and we've got all the information in the server. And this is the plot whereby you will have information on the total time of the dispatch for any particular lorry or particular load. And we have the information on the humidity, air temperature, if there is any rain, what is the situation, wind speed, everything will be recorded, and all those would be bespoke and attached to the specific material that will be used for that particular location where material has been installed. So we've got a very detailed information. And then after the materials arrive on site, what happened? It will be received by smart paver, and then it will be compacted by smart compactor. And those paver and compactor, they are fitted with sensors to monitor the temperature, to monitor the number of passes, to monitor the location. So there is a GNSS system to check the GPS location, and there are on-site data presentation as well. So actually, the driver will be able to see the data in front of them, so they know whether they have done enough passes or not. So the next one is illustrations on the temperature reading. So those paver, instead of having just one check on the temperature, they can actually scan the area. So you will have a detailed information on the changes in temperatures of the material. So that's a massive benefit of this process. One reason being asphalt material is very sensitive with temperature. So if we can control the temperature, then that can help ensuring the quality of the construction. And this is what you would see on the roller. There will be a screen with color-coded passes. So you will see how many number of passes and what temperature that the driver of that roller is currently using. And then this is the presentation of the number of passes and temperature. So they are color coded. So it's quite easy for the driver to know immediately whether one, they have done enough number of passes to compact the layer, and number two, whether the material that is being compacted actually still within the permitted temperature. So if you look at the temperature here, the red and orange are good temperature for compaction, but when it comes to green or blue, then the temperature is too low, which means problematic. Why is it problematic? I'll show you in a minute. This is the situation whereby if you have a variable temperature on your material, you can see some materials, they are hotter than the others. The blue one are the cold spot. If you look at the cold spot, what happened after the work, after a few months, you will start getting material loss because the material was not compacted properly. So you started seeing material loss. The same thing if your temperature on the mat, they are variable, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, then you will end up with surfacing that is not smooth. It will be variable up and down. So that is the importance of controlling the temperature, and these sensors help. The next one is another example. And if you don't have enough passes there, you can see actually a big step between joint of those which was compacted cold and not enough passes. So that can cause problem in the future. Another sensors that has been used is a sensors to help the worker to remain in a safety zone. As you can see there, the worker will remain in a safety zone. If they are inside the red zone, then it's not a safe zone. So they have to stay away. The next one is those data, because they are digital, they're quite easily accessible. So this, at the end of the work, all the data can be presented quite nicely, and they can be incorporated into any pavement management system. So you can see there, with the click of the button, you will have all the information about the material for that particular chainage, for that particular location. And then also with the click of the button, you can see exactly how many passes or whether the material was installed at the right temperature or not for that particular location. And they are all very detailed, and they are tied in with the location, because you've got a GPS location with the data. So that help in the future during the service life. If anything happen on that particular section, we can revisit the data, and then we can try to understand why there is a problem there. The next one is after construction, we replace the people who check the surface characteristic with sensor. So that also helps. And we've done validation as well with so many road projects there, and comparing between laser-based method and manual-based method, the rolling stir edge, and they are, in conclusion, they are more or less comparable to each other. In the same way, when we check the surface characteristic, the texture depths between the two methods, the laser method and the sun patch method, they are quite comparable. So in summary, we can see a lot of benefits using this automation in construction. The safety aspect of it, because the use of a smart sensor can replace a human being and remove operators from site. And the quality is better because you've got more data, and the data is safe in the server, and it's efficient because you can search around the database quite easily if the data is already in a digital format. And in fact, also another bonus is testing cost. The testing cost is lower when we use automation in construction, the one in blue, automation in quality assurance. And also the life of our asset is expected to be longer because the material will have much better quality. I'm not sure if we have enough time, but I'm going to run it through very quickly on example number 2, which is the work on racetrack surfacing. Why I would like to present this? Because if you construct a racetrack circuit pavement, they would require a lot higher quality requirement. So the challenge here is to improve the riding quality, and also to make sure water will not stay on the pavement. So what has been used in there is the automation in construction as the one that I presented earlier. So I'm not going to go through all the bullet points, but I'm going to illustrate the process. So one is from the quarry side, the aggregate properties, and how the quality control of the materials will be logged in a digital format, or you've got the database, and then the logistic from the production plant to the construction area also will be tracked by a digital sensor, and you've got the data on your database to monitor the logistic. And then also you use a digital planner. You have the 3D model to make sure you've got the right level, whereby you want to improve the level of your assets. And then you can plan ahead the sequence of construction, where the paver is going to be, how many lorry required, how many roller compactor would be required, and then at the end you can start the paving operation in a good way. And the quality that has been achieved is phenomenal, because the specification is asking for riding quality of 1 meter per kilometer, and actually what has been achieved is 0.3 meter per kilometer. So it's very, very smooth surface area, surface regularity that helps when somebody racing in high speed, it will improve the safety. So that's on the restart, and this is the last slide, basically a summary of what I presented today. So we talk a little bit about disruption before the pandemic, and then what happened during the pandemic, whereby the technology has been, the adoption of the new technology was accelerated. And then I give you a little bit of examples on the innovation in construction method, and also two case examples, how those two have been used on road projects and on resurfacing of racetrack. So I hope that is useful. If you want more information, they can be searched in the Google, and you will arrive at a certain landing page whereby you can download the published paper related to this aspect. Thank you. I'll give back the screen to Ms. Donella. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Iswandaru, for the interesting presentation. So we heard now that UK has a very advanced technology to cope with COVID pandemic in construction. We can see how different it tackled between Indonesia and UK now. So now, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to enter the discussion session. I will invite the audience to ask questions. You can raise hand. Yes, raise hand. First question is from Ibu Asri Nurdiana. Silakan Ibu.
Ya, mau langsung atau digabung tiga dulu nih?
Langsung aja Bu. Ini karena hanya ada satu yang raise hand.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Iswandaru. It's really great presentation. And I am very impressed with what has been developed for construction in UK about the artificial intelligence and all about the visualization. I am curious how the feasibility of investment, the economic feasibility of investment to accommodate all of that. If we talk about the break-even point for the technology investment. And I think if we adopt all of this application of this technology, the construction schedule must be completed faster, isn't right? And is there any comparing for this schedule? I mean, if we use all of the visualization and if we don't, how about the construction schedule? And I agree with you that we have many challenges in construction, especially in Indonesia, to pursue the use of technology. And this is very, very much work to do. Okay, thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Langsung saja.
Yes, yeah, the question is how the feasibility of investment, and then if you could share the difference of schedule between using the automation or not using the automation. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have on the schedule side. I don't have anything with me that I can immediately share. But what I can say from, for example, just the last example on the racetrack resurfacing. That work was actually a remedial work from a previous construction work. So basically what happened, I can't remember exactly, but probably 3 years back, that particular site was resurfaced, but then the regularity was not meeting the specification. It was very difficult to meet that specification. One reason being the required regularity specification is very tight. But then by introducing a lot of sensors, they can actually manage achieving the regularity of the finished product well below the maximum specified limit. So the from scheduling point of view, in this case, we avoid repeat work because you can control the work better, and also it saves costs from this remediation work because it's very expensive exercise. If one thing goes wrong, it's very expensive exercise. I don't know about Indonesia, but typically in the UK, when we talk about carrying out resurfacing work on busy roads like motorways. Motorways is a road which is probably similar to the toll road in Indonesia, carrying massive amount of traffic every day. So when they have to close the road, there's a massive loss on the economic side because people will got disrupted, and also the agency need to employ a company to repair the roads. So a lot of costs incurred for that. So what they would like to see now is they want to have a quality of work whereby they don't need to revisit that particular site until the end of life, or as a minimum until the first intervention or the first maintenance requirement, which should not happen, let's say, in the first 5 years. So first 5 years it must be free maintenance. After 5 years, there could be some maintenance required but it should be like small maintenance rather than big maintenance. So that's what they're trying to do. So in terms of that, then that's been proven. The chart which I presented on the cost of testing itself, it gives an idea how much cost saving. That's already include the amount of investment. So that cost there will be some investment at the front, of course, because you need to install the sensors, you need to train the operators how to use the sensors and so on. But once everything's up and running, then you can start seeing that benefit. That particular work that was on the framework work, which lasted, can't remember exactly, was it 4 or 5 years? So they started seeing a lot of benefit probably after the first half of that contract period. On the first one, it's more about investment and try to get familiar with the system. So we can't get all the return immediately, but in the long run, yes. On the design, I've already presented the benefit on the design, on the efficiency. So that is proven because that's been used on many projects. That's construction scheduler, and the other one is investment. Okay, I think probably I've answered those two.
Yes, thank you very much for the response, Pak Daru. Next question will be from Ibu Riza Susanti. Silahkan Ibu Riza.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Nella. I'm sorry I can't turn on my camera.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Iswandaro, I have a question. Thank you for a very interesting topic. And the question is how the automation able to control things that happen outside the plan? Like example, there's an accident on the road. Will the schedule in the system will change automatically? Thank you.
Silakan Pak Daru.
Yeah, sorry. Can you elaborate further in terms of something happened on the road? Because what happened here typically when we have well, the automation system which I presented earlier is not fully automated. It's more on the semi-automated, i.e. you still have the operator, be it remotely or on that vehicle. So they would be in control with respect to any event that may need interruption from the process. With respect to what happened on the road, I think what happened in the UK, we always have safe zone for construction and safe access for traffic. So we will have quite big gap between construction area and traffic area. So between those two, usually they will not cross. So that is very rarely happen. The only thing that might happen is if there's any incident, that would be incident inside the construction work, because there would be a lot of movements of heavy construction plan and a lot of technicians or site engineers on that working site area. But with the sensors and automation, actually they will help, because one aspect which I presented, the red safety zone, that help in flagging up everyone that they must not go near that red line because that is a dangerous zone.
Thank you very
Okay,
much. So
thank
we
you.
can say, yeah, Bu Santi.
Yes, it's enough.
Okay, thank you, Bu Santi. So here, Pak Daru, we can say that it still can have an accident, but because we only few people that work here, because automatization help to reduce the worker, it will have much more risk on the accident itself.
Well, yeah, what here so far is this has reduced the level of risk for any incidents. Many projects in England, they have implemented this automation and construction, and in Scotland, actually, it's starting last year, it's become almost like a default option, or not default option, default action, that they have to use automated construction plan or sensors during that process, because that help in managing the safety aspect of the work, as well as the other aspect, the efficiency and other stuff.
I think this here the safety aspect is also one of the aspect that Indonesia has to cope from UK, because if we can has the differences between the safety is not really as is important as in the UK. Yeah, so it's a really good input for Indonesian government. Okay, for the third question, is there any third question here? All right, if not, I will ask for one question for Pak Iswandaru. Is there, Pak, any differences between the maintenance or monitoring with the automatization between the common highway in England, or motorsport, or even in airfield pavement? Because the three of them is very different of the using. Then is there any different for the maintenance
different
and monitoring?
on which aspect?
Maintenance and monitoring.
Yeah.
Of the asphalt.
Yes, the method for monitoring might be the same, but the details, what needs to be monitored, the acceptance level would be different. So, for example, with highways, the main concerns are safety.
Yes.
And the next one is ride quality. So the quality when somebody is driving, they want to feel comfortable. And the next one is the environment, that the surrounding community, they don't want something noisy around their area. So those are the things that they monitor. The way of monitoring, there are ways of monitoring. There are vehicles, equipment, and sensors to monitor those things, and they do this monitoring quite regularly. On the big major highways, as a minimum, one a year, there would be a machine doing the network survey for this kind of quality. With airport safety is the most important, especially on the runway. So they would do monitoring in more frequent basis. So depending upon the size of the airport, is it a big airport or small airport, it can be as often as every 2-3 days, or it can be as longer as probably every a couple of months also. But they would need to check that the surfacing, they are sound, so they will have either visual or using machine video survey on the surfacing of the runway, and check the grip, the friction of the runway, on regular basis. With the racetrack, it's a different ball game because it's depend on the type of excitement that any particular organization they want to introduce there. Because in some section you try to have something that is what you call it, more excited, so you the vehicles can drag around and move, but the level of regularity usually it's quite similar to on the runway, which is it's got to be very regular because we are dealing with high speed. So that those are the but in terms of the equipment, it can be the same equipment that you use.
Okay.
So you can use
So the same equipment.
Yeah, but it's just different details.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Pak, for your response and explanation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, participants, this discussion is very interesting, but unfortunately, we have a limited of time, so maybe we can later outside the event we can discuss again. Once again, thank you, Pak Daru, who has been willing to come to share knowledge with all of us today in this beautiful weekend. I'm sorry to disrupt your weekend. And
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alhamdulillah, this event this afternoon has been carried out well. We have got a lot of knowledge on how UK tackle construction challenge in pandemic area. Then the last one, I will try to summarize Pak Iswandaru presentation that actually disruption in the construction sector is existed before the COVID itself. However, the pandemic has accelerated construction design to reform with digitalization and automatization, such as virtually with digital twin, that has advantages with better understand reality, take a full control of project, anticipate constraint, and integrate challenges. And also with BIM and immersive technology, like in video game, it will have more easier to conduct, and then it will improve efficiency and improve of visualization. And other than that, using automatization in construction can improve quality, safety, and efficiency in infrastructure works, with reduced risk, more safety, of course, more efficiency in gather more detailed data, and more understand the obstacle on site. Okay, that's the summary of today's presentation. Thank you very much. That's the whole series of experts speak today. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. I will leave the program back to the MC. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Diperkenalkan kepada Ibu Farzanila Sparta untuk menyerahkan sertifikat online kepada speaker kita kali ini, Bapak Iswandaru Widiatmoko, BSc MSc PhD.
Thank you, Pak Daru, for today's for the expert speak. This is the certificate online seminar expert speak for Bapak Iswandaru Widiatmoko, BSc, MSc, PhD, for the participation as speaker by the topic of innovation in construction method during pandemic era, that is organized by Applied Bachelor Program of Civil Engineering and Architecture Design, Vocational School, Diponegoro University. Thank you very much, Pak Iswandaru.
Thank you to Mr. Iswandaru and Mrs. Farzanela. But before we moving to the next agenda, we have the documentation section with all the participants here. To all the participants, please turn on the camera and use the virtual background that has been provided by the committee. Dan diperkenankan kepada panitia untuk bisa mengcapture dan mengambil gambar untuk sesi dokumentasi kali ini. Kepada panitia yang bertugas, apakah sudah siap? Mungkin bisa langsung saja saya hitung. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Terima kasih disampaikan. Once again, we thank you to Mr. Iswandaro and Mrs. Farzanella for making time to join us here and sharing a lot of knowledge also for the insight in this afternoon. We hope that this event will be a place to gaining more knowledge and developing our ideas in the field that we mastered in.
Okay, next we are having a games, but before that, it is required for all participants filling the attendance link that has been listed in the chat section or shared to the group chat. The attendance link will be open for 5 minutes. Start from now. Thank you.
Mas Dio, Mbak Arifah ini sudah selesai ya? Saya boleh lead ya?
Baik, Bu. Iya. Terima kasih, Bu.
Oke, thank you ya Mas Dio, Mbak Arifah. Thank you Bu Nela, thank you Dr. Iswandaru.
Terima kasih Pak
Terima
Daru.
kasih Bu. Terima kasih Bu Asri.
Oke, matur nuwun Mbak Iswandaru.
Terima kasih.
Kepada panitia bisa untuk menampilkan barcode untuk absensi. Kepada peserta yang terkendala untuk memindai barcode yang sudah tertera di layar, bisa menggunakan link presensi yang sudah tertera di kolom komentar.
Okay, next I want to tell you all that the games we are going to do is closely related to civil and architecture, so let's get started.
Untuk teman-teman peserta di sini akan ada games menarik untuk kita semua, games berkaitan tentang civil RC yang tidak susah pastinya. Kepada panitia, let's get started. Oke, langsung saja kita ke soal pertama, kuis tebak gambar kali ini. Akan ada beberapa soal yang berkaitan tentang dunia teknik sipil yang bisa dijawab oleh teman-teman peserta di sini. Nggak usah takut untuk menjawab, jadi langsung aja. Untuk soal pertama. Ada dua gambar di sini, gambar A dan gambar B, tapi gambar A-nya I-nya dicoret. Oke, mungkin ada teman-teman peserta yang mau ngejawab, atau mungkin dari teman-teman panitia yang tidak membuat soalnya, bisa untuk menjawab, bisa menggunakan fitur raise hand. Oke, kepada dari angkatan 21 nih ya, angkatan 21 nih, dari Agil Diastoro. Boleh dinyalakan mikrofonnya dan jawab?
Silahkan Agil.
Izin menjawab. Nama saya Agil Diastora dari Prodi Pilar 21. Izin menjawab. Apakah benar jawabannya loader?
Launder. Oke, langsung aja kita lihat. Apakah jawaban di soal pertama ini benar? Oke, benar. Jawabannya loader. Oke, selamat kepada Agil udah berhasil jawab di pertanyaan pertama kali ini. Oke, mungkin Arifah kita bisa lanjut ke soal kedua ya.
Oke, lanjut ada soal kedua. Ada di gambar pertama, dikon dan A-nya dicoret. Gambar kedua maunya dicoret nih.
Apa tuh gambar kedua?
Ada yang bisa nggak ya?
Ada yang bisa nggak? Ini ada beberapa
udah
nih.
Ada yang resen kayak gini Kak.
Ada yang atas dulu ya. Kalau di aku di atasnya ini Nurul J.
Iya, sama Kak Dio.
Halo.
Silahkan Kak Nurul.
Halo, izin menjawab ya. Jawabannya traktor.
Traktor, oke, langsung aja kita lihat jawabannya apakah benar di soal kedua. Bener banget, terbukti nih anak-anak Pilar pada pinter-pinter ya untuk nebak gambar kayak gini.
Iya Kak.
Oke, langsung
ketiga,
aja lanjut. Banyak banget nih yang suka sama game kayak gini. Oke, di gambar A ada makanan, apa itu yang C-nya dicoret, lanjutannya apa, dan sem-nya dicoret. Untuk yang kedua, bisa aja itu gambar pasir kan ya, siapa tahu. Oke, mungkin ada yang mau ngejawab? Udah ada nih kelihatannya nih. Dari angkatan 21 ya?
Iya Kak.
Oke, langsung aja dijawab.
Izin menjawab Kak, jawabannya molen.
Molen, Arifah, apakah benar jawabannya molen, Arifah?
Yuk kita lihat langsung aja jawabannya Kak. Wah benar sekali,
bener
jawabannya
banget.
adalah molen.
Oke, langsung aja kita masuk ke soal keberapa nih? Keempat ya? Iya apa enggak? Ya, keempat lah ya mungkin. Keempat. Oke, langsung aja panitia. Kita masuk ke soal selanjutnya. Ada minuman dan ada pekerjaan. Apa nih jawabannya nih teman-teman nih? Oke, mungkin M. Irsyad boleh diturunin dulu nih rasanya.
Ya, sama Agil juga.
Gantian ya. Kita gantian. Oh, mungkin dari Aji Novianto kepada saudara Aji Novianto mungkin bisa menjawab untuk soal kali ini.
Kalau nggak salah ini bulldozer.
Oke, jawabannya bulldozer dari saudara Aji Novianto. Bisa kita lihat jawaban yang benar apa? Oke, jawabannya benar banget, bulldozer. Terima kasih atas jawabannya.
Keren-keren sekali ya Kak Dio, anak-anak Pilar.
Oke, langsung aja kita masuk ya ke soal terakhir nih kayaknya. Oh, udah selesai ternyata ya soalnya.
Ya Kak, barusan soal terakhir.
Oh, soal terakhir. Jadi selamat kepada semua peserta yang sudah bisa menjawab soal 1-5, karena kalian sudah bisa menyelesaikan kuis tebak gambar di 6th episode of International Seminar Expert Speak Series 2021.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are on the last agenda for today's seminar. I'm Arifah Lestari and my partner.
I'm Dear.
As your master of ceremony, we would like to say our deepest gratitude and say thank you to the audience here. Let us close the seminar week 6 Expert Speak Series 2021, Innovation in Construction Method During Pandemic Era.
And before we close the seminar, this event runs smoothly with the support of our sponsors and media partners. We thank you, Even Campus Co, Pelajarinfo.id, Blog Mahasiswa, Ruang Mahasiswa, Even the Tech, Lembaga Pers Mahasiswa Manunggal Universitas Diponegoro,
Lembaga Pers Mahasiswa Cakrawala Sekolah Vokasi Universitas Diponegoro, Event Kampus, Badan Eksekutif Mahasiswa Sekolah Vokasi Undi, HMA Amok Hasida Fakultas Teknik Arsitektur Universitas Diponegoro, Himpunan Mahasiswa Sipil Universitas Diponegoro, BBR 3 OMA, Forum Komunikasi Mahasiswa Teknik Sipil Indonesia.
And don't forget to join us in the next International Seminar Expert Speak Series 2021. Stay healthy, stay positive, and good vibes only. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And we'll see you very, very soon.
Selamat datang di program studi Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur Sekolah Vokasi Universitas Diponegoro. Terletak di Jalan Profesor Sudarto, Tembalang, Kota Semarang. Program studi ini merupakan lanjutan dari Diploma 3 Teknik Sipil dan Diploma 3 Desain Arsitektur yang kemudian melebur menjadi Sarjana Terapan Teknik Infrastruktur. Selamat datang di program studi Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur Sekolah Vokasi Universitas Diponegoro. Terletak di Jalan Profesor Sudarto, Tembalang, Kota Semarang. Program studi ini merupakan lanjutan dari Diploma 3 Teknik Sipil dan Diploma 3 Desain Arsitektur yang kemudian melebur menjadi Sarjana Terapan Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur. Program studi ini diresmikan pada tahun 2019 dengan mahasiswa aktif saat ini berjumlah 286 orang. Terdapat 3 pilihan konsentrasi di dalamnya, yaitu desain arsitektur, konstruksi bangunan gedung, jalan, jembatan. Berbicara mengenai kehidupan kampus, tentunya tidak akan pernah terlepas dari sebuah perjuangan dan pergerakan mahasiswa yang tertuang dalam sebuah organisasi kemahasiswaan. Oleh karena itu, terdapat sebuah organisasi mahasiswa, yaitu Himpunan Mahasiswa Sipil Arsitektur atau HMSA, serta 3 biro yang mendampinginya, yaitu Dipofil, Aspal, dan Devil Mania. Di samping itu, menuju 2 tahun keberjalanannya, tidak sedikit prestasi yang telah diukir oleh mahasiswa Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur. Tentunya hal ini tidak luput dari tenaga pengajar yang profesional dan praktisi yang ahli di bidangnya, menjadikan mahasiswanya siap menghadapi tantangan di masa depan dan mampu bersaing di era globalisasi. Sebagai lembaga pendidikan yang berkomitmen, program studi ini siap mencetak sarjana terapan yang berkompetensi, berdaya saing, dan siap bekerja secara profesional untuk Undip dan untuk Indonesia. Selamat datang di program studi Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur Sekolah Vokasi Universitas Diponegoro. Terletak di Jalan Profesor Sudarto, Tembalang, Kota Semarang. Program studi ini merupakan lanjutan dari Diploma 3 Teknik Sipil dan Diploma 3 Desain Arsitektur yang kemudian melebur menjadi Sarjana Terapan Teknik Infrastruktur Sipil dan Perancangan Arsitektur. Program studi ini diresmikan pada tahun 2019 dengan mahasiswa aktif saat ini berjumlah 286 orang. Terdapat 3 pilihan konsentrasi di dalamnya, yaitu desain arsitektur, konstruksi bangunan gedung, jalan, jembatan. Berbicara mengenai kehidupan kampus, tentunya tidak akan pernah terlepas dari sebuah perjuangan dan pergerakan mahasiswa yang tertuang dalam sebuah organisasi kemahasiswaan. Oleh karena itu, terdapat sebuah organisasi mahasiswa, yaitu Himpunan Mahasiswa Sipil Arsitektur atau HMSA.
For all the committees and participants, please fill in the following link that's listed in the room chat. Thank you so much.